Hello everyone, this is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Introduction to Computer Applications at Ozarka College. This morning what I'd like to do is give you some feedback on the Excel Module 2 activities that I finished grading this morning, and then I'm going to tell you what we've got coming up due for Excel Module 3, and also I'm going to mention the Excel production exam that we'll have coming up here in the next week or two. And alright, so like I said, the Excel Module 2 assignments, I finished grading those this morning. Go ahead and look at your grades for those activities as soon as you can and let me know if you have any questions. Most of you did well on the Module 2 assignments, but there were some kind of common errors. For example, some of you forgot to insert the actual functions or formulas in some of the cells of the worksheet, and instead of doing that, you just typed in the calculated values. And as I've explained a few times already, but I'll explain it again, we want to make sure that we enter the specified formulas and functions in the worksheet instead of just typing in the calculated values, because when we go to update the worksheet later, which businesses have to do all the time, we want to make sure that those formulas and functions are recalculated automatically when we make changes to the worksheet data. If we just type in the calculated value, that's just a static number that's not going to change automatically when we enter new data in the worksheet. And so when you just enter the calculated values instead of the formulas and functions, it basically defeats the whole purpose of using Excel to calculate those formulas and functions for us, and be able to easily update the worksheet later and have Excel automatically give us those new calculated values. Alright, so just kind of keep that in mind for the Excel Module 3. Make sure you're entering the formulas and functions as specified. Also check all your formulas and functions for accuracy. Make sure that the formula is correct and all the cell references are correct in the formula. If it's a function, make sure all the various parts of the function are correct. The function name and the argument, which is the cell range in parentheses. Some of you didn't check some of those things on your assignments, and so I had to count some points off for that. So those are really the main things that I saw that a few of you had problems with on the Excel Module 2 assignments. And then beyond that, it was just basic formatting. Some of you, didn't do some of the formatting, and so I had to count some points off for that. So, like I said, just look at the grading comments. If I did have to count points off, I tried to be very specific on what you didn't do or didn't do correctly, and kind of the process that you would go through to correct that mistake. Okay, but like I said, if you have questions, just let me know. Most of you did well on the Excel Module 2 objective test, and like I said, I really appreciate the time and effort that you're putting into the work for this class, so keep up the good work on that. Alright, so that brings us to the next set of activities that are due for this class, which if you go to the activities page in my Ozarka, right now we are kind of towards the end of week 8 of the semester. And of course, we just had our Excel Module 2 work due last night. And you'll notice for next week, we don't have anything due next week. But even though there's nothing due next week, you should be working on the Excel Module 3 activities, which are due the first day of the following week. Specifically, Sunday, October 19th is when all the Excel Module 3 activities are due. Alright, and I would definitely get started on those activities as soon as possible. in Excel Module 3, we're going to be learning some kind of more advanced features of Excel, and it's going to take quite a while. It's a pretty complex worksheet that you're working in, and then you're also going to create a chart and kind of edit the chart according to the instructions. And so because of that, it's going to take some time to work through that that Excel Module 3 assignment. So make sure you get started early and let me know if you have questions. All right? Use that Excel Module 3 help discussion item to ask me a question if you do run into a problem as you're working through the assignment. Okay? So you've got the assignment and the objective test both due by Sunday, October 19th. All right? There are also some optional bonus assignments that I've included for Excel that will also be due that Sunday, October 19th. All right? Now, in addition to the Excel Module 3 activities due next week, we will also take, or not next week, the week after next, we will also, during that same week, take our Excel production exam. It will be available from October 20th through the 22nd. All right? So you've still got some time to study for that. But basically, to study for that production exam, you need to go back and review over all of the tasks that you performed in Excel modules 1 through 3. All right? And I will send out more information about the Excel production exam next week. So be looking for that. And that's really all I have for you for today, other than one other thing. I did post midterm grades this morning. So if you haven't already done so, go in and look at your midterm grade for this class. Let me know if you have any questions about that. It's just going to be whatever letter grade equates with your percentage grade up to this point in the semester. So it shouldn't be a surprise. But if you think that your grade should be something different than what I put in, just let me know, and I'll be glad to look at it for you. But other than that, enjoy your weekend, enjoy next week, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you.